The Party Poker Premier League is reaching its conclusion tonight. The final heat plays out here in the Canadian city of Montreal. This season, the Playground Poker Club is hosting the Party Poker Premier League. It's one of the most exclusive events in the game. Tonight, Heat 6 gets underway, and we find out who goes straight through to the final, who is eliminated, and who gets a second chance in the heads-up stages. The pressure is certainly on all of our Premier League players.
You can't play these things unless you have the expectations to win.
This should be a really good Premier League for me.
I'd love to have a Premier League title under my belt.
I'm just trying to win every tournament all the time.
I think some of them are the best in the world, but I think some are clearly not.
I got the grind on my mind, and I'm just ready to go.
How sick are you in the head?
Whoops. Got my Premier League record in jeopardy, Scott.
It's been a fun Premier League.
Oh, one time, can I get there?
So far, 5 heats have played out, and we've witnessed heartbreaks and triumphs as players have made a bid to climb the league table. Jesse May is here to remind us of the game so far.
We have seen success for the Premier League newcomers. In the opening heat, Jeff Gross went straight to the top of the league standings. Jason Koon took down Heat 2. Heat 3 saw Sorel Mizzi scoop the maximum 14 points.
Is this it?
This feels it.
It feels like it's it.
This feels like it's it.
GG, buddy.
In Heat 4, Dan Coleman beat Phil Lockett for the win.
Am I out?
I think so.
And last time, Brian Rast won the match and kept his Premier League dreams alive.
Get me off my game, Rusty. Good match, man. Good game.
On the other end of the spectrum, it has been a disaster for the defending champion Dan Shak, who has had 2 last place finishes.
I'm all in. Oh, that was a blow-up.
Things haven't gone well for Vanessa Selbst either, suffering some bad beats along the way. Now, the players have arrived. They are closely assessing the league standings and ready to get the last heat underway. The last heat in Premier League poker, always the most exciting because players will have their heads buried in the sheets, permutations abound, and we're in a situation right now where every Premier League player can still make the top 8. I'll be joined by Jason Koon, who's going to be on a knife edge. He cannot control his destiny, but Jason, you're not in bad shape, 29 points in the bag.
No, I'm in really good shape. At least at worst case scenario, I'll be playing heads up, and heads up's one of my fortes, but let's hope that it doesn't come to that.
I mean, we're in a situation where some players have a very clear path through, and some people it's not so sure. For me, Brian Rast, it's very weird because even though he's in good shape, having 20 points, there's some permutations that see him getting not even the top 8, and then obviously he has to be careful because he can still make top 4.
Yeah, it's a strange dynamic. It's basically like fold until you're locked up for top 8 and then turn it on and go for the final table lock.
Everything is obviously going to depend on what happens early, and for me, you look at Vanessa Selbst because she's only got 9 points and she probably needs a win, but then again, sometimes she can get second, and for me, it's kind of going to be like, you know, she's going to have to pick on guys in the early stages.
Yeah, I had a talk with Vanessa coming in, and she's going to bring it. I can promise you that.
Not only are the roads difficult, but they will change as players get knocked out. So just stay tuned to see what happens.
It's time to get our final heat underway, and we're guaranteed some great action as our 8 players do battle here at the Playground Poker Club in Montreal. Let's get the cards in the air.
This is where it all comes down. Premier League Poker VII, heat number 6, and everybody still in with a chance to win this Premier League. Vanessa Selbst, interestingly enough, she's in a spot she's been in before. She needs to win to stay in this Premier League, and yet there are permutations that see a second getting through for her. Most of them involve Jonathan Duhamel begging or getting 7.
Yeah, absolutely.
she's just going to go out and just play the way that she knows how to play best and just fire away at the beginning.
You got it. You have it officially.
Obviously, the dynamics are going to change, but let's talk about what's probably going to happen right off the bat. I feel like, and tell me if you agree, that Vanessa Selbst might be choosing to open like 90% of pots in this before a player gets knocked out.
Yeah, it looks that way. Outside of Dan Shak, basically everyone has something to lose, and I think that they are just going to be in the coffin. They're just going to have to sit there and let her chip away, and I believe it would be optimal for her to come out and just blast away for sure, especially at the first level.
Jonathan Duhamel is an interesting spot because he's got 17 points. You would look at his score and say he's nearly guaranteed to make the top 8.
Oh, wow.
But it's actually
so,
This is worth it.
This is interesting because Vanessa's in a spot where everyone's expecting her to open 100%.
Yeah.
So, like...
Yeah, she's not going to get a fold out of Seiver here, I don't think.
Right, and Seiver's an interesting spot. He's currently, 10th in the Premier League standings with 11 points. So even though he knows he has to do well here, he's also in a spot where, like, a 4th or a 3rd could keep him in this.
Yeah, so it looks like he's not going to be too afraid from clashing here. I assume he's going to call here, ace-high being the best hand and a bunch of backdoors.
And right now, his range for Vanessa is any 2. And that's why ace-high feels good here.
Absolutely, yeah. He just has so many cards that he can continue with on the turn, that being one of them.
Wow.
Yeah. I assume that Vanessa's just going to keep value betting. The 7 is good for Scott's range, but he just has so much ace-high and straight draws. And
she's checked?
Yeah, that's reasonable, too, just to pot control, because he does have all the 7s in his range.
Seiver would be one of maybe the 2 guys at the table, Seiver and Shak, who she's not 100% sure what their intentions are.
Yeah. It's such a beat.
Sick.
Yeah, it's just going to go check call here, I think.
Is it a value bet spot for Scott?
Yeah, 100%. I mean, Jack 10 misses, 10-8 misses, 9-6 misses, 4-5, 5-6, all the straight draws miss.
Check.
Wow, he's decided to check it. Now, that can only be a tactical check as far as, that ICM thing where he feels like chips in his stack are so much more valuable.
Absolutely. That and Vanessa is a very tricky player, and that just goes to show you Scott's respect for Vanessa's ability to go for a big, massive check raise on the river, and he just don't want to put himself in a position to make a big decision right now.
She is sneaky enough to
her river check raise is about as high as they get, and she's very balanced, and she'll get you sometimes.
So, do you have a little bit of experience playing Selbst? I mean, she's a no-limit hold in the tournament.
Yeah, she's a monster. She's absolutely fearless, and she's really, really smart. And yeah, I mean, that's a value bet for Scott against almost everyone else in the tournament. It just goes to show you how tough she is. So there's Sorel open folded 7s.
So that shows you a lot.
He's aware. Yeah, he's aware. He's going to be trying to ladder.
And Jeff Gross is a guy who, to me, I think you can. There's reasons to fold this, and I'll tell you why. Gross is going to be the chip leader in at this final table with any finish except for a bagel. So why would he want to move chips while there's still 8 people at this table?
Yeah, it's a tricky spot because him and Antonio are kind of both in not a similar situation at all, but Antonio needs the ladder, and Jeff just he just really needs 2 points, right?
He just needs, he wins tiebreaker, so he needs 1 point.
Yeah, he absolutely must fold this hand.
I feel like, he should get a cab and go have some breakfast.
For sure. No, I completely agree. You're right. This is definitely not a good call.
And Vanessa has flatted here, and so has Dan Shak.
Yeah.
And this is just based on the fact that they feel like they can put pressure on later in the hands with anything.
Yeah, I think that's exactly right. And she knows that she's dealing with strong pre-flop opening ranges, so a lot of her edge is going to be derived post-flop when they're like, oh, I just have 1 pair with my jacks, and the board just came king high, and then she can get them to check fold rather than 3-bet pre, and then a lot of the times they're just going to have a huge hand that she has to deal with. Just trying to outmaneuver them post-flop.
Just a massive, massive spot for Esfandiari, and yet you get in these extreme spots. Is this such a massive spot that he's willing to put his Premier League on the line with this hand on the flop?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. But it's not going to be, he's not going to be put in that situation. It's Vanessa's going to peel 1, and I think that she may even find a fold on the turn.
Or fold.
So Vanessa would almost be more likely to put pressure on him with a hand that's like sort of drawing to the nuts than a hand like this.
6 call.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
Heads up.
And we know there's no good scenario for Vanessa since Jeff folded pocket nines and a queen just has her check marked.
Antonio's also an interesting spot because he does need some points. He's not super scared about baggling in that, you know, he has to do something at this table.
Yeah.
C2 bet 36,000.
There are 2 flush draws out there, but just given, like we said, he plays so tight pre, I think that Vanessa should be able to make a fold here.
And a lot of this might have to do with what her estimation is of his tactics in this.
Absolutely, yeah. He needs to be playing conservative. He's in 9th, right? That's what we said?
Yeah, he's in 9th. I mean, you know, he's got 15 points. It looks like he needs, you know, a top 5 finish.
Yeah, so a reasonable finish gets him in there.
But the most important thing for Esfandiari is beating Duhamel and Seiver.
Yeah.
Because actually, a bad finish gets him in as long as Duhamel and Seiver go out early, and he's not that worried about Vanessa Selbst.
Yeah,
Let's call.
You don't like this call?
I don't, but it is tough. I mean, there's 2 flush draws out there. And Antonio does apply pressure. You know, he could just be barreling a value hand that she beats. Like, well, now she beats absolutely nothing. This is actually going to go check a bunch.
What would he do if she went sick?
Yeah, I honestly think if it goes check, she should just go all in. It's really, really sick. I think it's a very easy all-in because Antonio never checks a flush on the river. He doesn't want to lose value from a hand like ace-jack or something like that, or ace-queen that would just check back. It looks like by that facial expression she just made that she may just check back. Yeah, that makes me sad.
She thought about it, and I guess her decision...
I don't know how I'm calling that turn, not shove that river.
Yeah.
You were calling, you were folding.
And she second-guessed herself there, Jason.
Yeah, it's hard on you because she knows that her image lately, she hasn't been making a lot of big hands and she's been getting picked off. And it's hard for any tough player or any poker player just to keep bluffing whenever all of their bluffs are getting called. And
you're just gonna fold.
I mean, I didn't want to see a shove, I'll tell you that. Yeah, it was the absolute worst
I
card.
know, of course. Yeah,
King 10.
I thought you might turn a queen into a bluff. I don't know.
This
that's
is one
what
of the scenarios,
obviously
you know, you think to
done.
yourself, Vanessa Selbst is probably likely to skew. Like she's either going to finish 8th, 7th, 1st, or 2nd.
Yeah, I think that's really likely. She's actually much more disciplined than she gets a lot of credit for. I think that there's a very good chance that she ends up making a deep run in this and just doesn't just completely lift off.
Last time Vanessa Selbst played the Premier League was season 5, and she entered the last heat in a similar spot. She had to win to stay in, and she got all the way down to the heads-up stage against Jungle Man, came up short. So she knows, and she was applying this sort of strategy. It was kind of like a 5xing every over.
Like 2.
And like, I have to say, I feel like this is a fold for Jeff Gross.
Yeah, but he's not going to fold. He's going to call, I think. I don't think that he's really considering just because I mean, he has had 2 massive hands. We'll see if he folds. He'll definitely be thinking more about it. Yeah, so this is just going to go check fold. It's a nice little result for Vanessa.
C4 check.
Yeah, I was having a conversation with Jeff Gross this morning before the heat started, and he seemed very clear that he just had to outlast one player, and then he could do what he wanted.
But,
then he's going to snap fold here. I mean, you can't be too mad at the guy for going to a flop with ace-king.
Right.
Yeah.
Right, I mean, he does have 300,000 in chips, and the blinds are 1-2, right?
Yeah. She should just get a fold. I mean, even all of her bluffs pre-flop have significant equity against his hand now.
And there is this overall thing where, like, Vanessa she has to send the message. She can't, like, she has to continue with this, not because, you know, she has a hand or something like that, but she has to let people know that they will face decisions for their stack if they play.
Yeah.
And I mean, they need to know it, right?
Yeah, she has no problem with letting people know that. That's for sure.
So she's taking that one down, Vanessa, and that's tactics based.
Just holding the best hand. That's the only thing that hurts.
Fold the pocket 9s?
No. Can't lay down 9s.
You should.
Pocket 7s? And Shak. on his pocket. Queen 8 board would not fold pocket 7s.
And I'll tell you, you know, maybe she thought to herself, even though she's only got 224,000 in chips, her situation, her dynamics are so good. Well, this is 8-handed that she actually is quite likely to pick those chips back up.
Yeah. I still think that with the money laying in the middle, Antonio having a capped range, she should just go all in.
Yeah. Well, you know, we've seen what Phil Locke would have done in that spot.
Yeah.
See one fold.
Yeah.
Fold.
And JG will not be joining.
Fold.
So Sorel Mizzi's flatted the Vanessa Selbst open.
That was beautiful.
How he's going to deal with this.
God. I had a good day.
Jason, and I mean,
wow, this could get interesting.
Fucking
Vanessa
not
might
even that one. That
C6
one.
bet,
How can I be happy with
might
that?
be willing
I'm
to
happy
just,
with the result.
even if she misses, to just pound this on the turn.
Yeah. I mean, especially a 3 or a 4, the heat's going to be. I think she's just going to continue any turn rather than maybe ace of diamonds or something. She would just check fold.
But what I mean is, if she puts Sorel and ace, king, ace, queen here, she might go for the all-in on the turn. I mean, that's not out of. Is that?
Yeah, this is unreal. That's out of the question just because that would be such a massive bet. But by the river, you could definitely see an overbet, although it doesn't make a lot of sense because Sorel could just be sitting there with king, queen of clubs or whatever. Usually, you're only going to see the overbets in a spot where the villain can't have the nuts.
Obviously, he needed to think about this possibility before he put the chips in on the flop.
Absolutely.
He could have a hand as good as this and still.
I think this is a full pre-flop. I really do.
I completely agree with you.
He's just going to flat, of course.
He's actually, I mean, he's in the spot of everyone that he should just be folding every hand, right? I mean, if he gets a middle of the pack finish, he's a lock for the final table.
Yes,
exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah,
and there's such a big downside for him, and the upside is kind of, you know,
happens so often in these Premier Leagues where people become.
Oh my God!
Oh my Lord! They get unsensitive.
This is
to that.
unbelievable.
They just
absolutely unbelievable.
I actually think Vanessa's out of this Premier League.
This is so sick.
I mean, that is the.
Poor Vanessa's just been running into it.
That is. I mean, she can't really.
She's gonna bet fold the river for sure. She's gonna bet fold the river. Sorel has all the sets. I can't imagine her just shoving. There's nothing he can call.
Doesn't she want to get paid off by ace, king, ace, queen?
Yeah.
Isn't ace, king, ace, queen so much
10,
more likely here than ace, jack for Sorel? I mean,
and ace,
so many of his hands are
could be like, you know, aces, ace with the queen of clubs is right in the wheelhouse too, because the 9 of clubs.
I'm really kind of gutted for. I don't think she deserves this.
Is so sick.
I feel like Sorel's actually getting rewarded here.
And it's really gross because his hand is a pretty hand, but even against like random cards, he only has like 60% equity pre-flop.
It's the thing is the math of the points. Just you can fold real hands just because this whole weird math. You just gotta get in the points. Gotta get in the
She doesn't deserve this.
She's gonna. There is actually a chance that she just check folds the river. I know that sounds insane, but if she bets like 70 or 80,000, she's gonna fold to a shove. She's not gonna bust this tournament.
It's so sick. These are one of those hands where
just runs into
you
it.
go for the value, but then you have to fold to the raise. There's zero chance your opponent's raising without a full house.
Guessing it's around
for
80,000.
Sorel, he's got the stone cold nuts, which is just like ridiculous.
Yeah, so he's just gonna shove, and she's gonna like be like, "Why does this always happen to me?" and fold.
Yep.
Wow.
Yeah.
And obviously not a good river card for you, Jason.
These
no, it's this. I was in like an absolutely beautiful spot.
The pregnant moment here is just
so
allowing. It's allowing Selbst to think, "Wow, I might be winning." He does have maybe ace queen. She's thinking this is good for. It's just such a rip to the heart after the 4-hour tank all in.
Yeah, honestly, I think I'm pretty sure that this should be a check fold on the river. I know that sounds absolutely insane.
That sounds absolutely insane.
Yeah, but you got to think about Mizzi's range and the spot that he's in. Like even calling the turn, I mean, maybe he calls with like ace king with the king of clubs.
He might have been calling with the ace jack, thinking if a blank peels, like a 3 of hearts, and she bets, I might have to fold.
Seat 1 re-raise all in.
Oh, that happened. Look at Vanessa.
Yeah, of course. So now she's gonna. She's gonna fold. It's so sick, but she's gonna fold.
And yet, in her mind, like, would he? You know, he's not supposed to have ace jack here. No, obviously he does, but
just check.
Vanessa's got to get away from this.
He's never bluffing.
Never. And she's going to get away from it.
You don't have much of a hand.
Why would he bluff here? Is there any way
He knows that she can't go out, but that's not a good enough reason by itself, you know.
I don't have much.
The way the hand
I
went.
feel like you're maybe bluffing.
Oh, come on, Vanessa.
Oh, okay. What's that?
But maybe you're bluffing. Who are you? How sick are you in the head?
Some couple of water.
That's the question. How sick
And
are you?
another bowl of soup.
What's the answer to that question? How sick is the
You sicker than me? Sorry, guys.
Mizzi's
I'm
great.
actually thinking about it.
He plays smart. He plays disciplined.
I'm actually thinking about it.
There's no clock, Vanessa. Take your time. I love watching the master work. You know, I want to know what's going on in the brain, so just take your time. You know?
Never mind. Never mind. Never mind.
Do we?
Girl. Wow, she is an outstanding poker player, Vanessa Selbst. She figured it out. She got away from it. And Sorel is.
Yeah, that's
how good is she?
You pick a hand. I'll pick a hand.
I think he has like ace jack. I think he would have to be even.
I like how she says I don't have much of a hand either.
Okay, you pick a hand.
Pretty cool.
Ante, please.
Like, yeah.
I'll pick ace jack.
Okay, I'll take deuces.
I had King Jack, but I thought he might be turning a worse Jack into a bluff.
King Jack.
No, I'm not. I've given enough big
Serious pain.
Yeah, there was a deuce.
So she's just going to carry on because there is no net.
He's calling you with an ace, you think?
Yeah.
Maybe he's folding an ace. Would you have folded an ace?
This is Vanessa's second Premier League season. The last time she played this event in Vienna, she narrowly missed out on a final table place when Jungleman beat her. Now, she is determined to get through for a chance to be crowned champion in Montreal.
Last time I was in this position, it was a lot of fun. You know, I somehow got to heads up, pretty much played flawlessly heads up and just didn't run that well, so I'm really looking forward to giving it another go. Premier League hasn't gone that great for me so far. The first couple of heats I went in with a plan that was basically to play pretty tight.
Wow!
I just haven't really been able to make any traction, whether I haven't been getting a lot of hands. When I do, I run into bigger hands, so it's been frustrating. It would be everything to get to the final table. This is the exact situation I had last time. I had to come in, I had to win the final heat in order to move on. I almost did it then, and if that happens again, and if I'm able to get there, that would be awesome.
Plenty more action to come from Heat 6 after the break.
You could hurt me a lot more than I could hurt you. We'll each play our own game.
Have Alex against the nuts.
Have the nuts. I'm not thinking about it. Don't worry.
Welcome back to Party Poker Premier League 7. The last heat is underway, and it's all about winning those last crucial points. Over the past 6 seasons of Premier League, we have seen some of the most exciting tactical plays in the last league matches, as point permutations cause some unusual moves. Everyone has their own strategy. In Season 2, we saw Roland DeWolf fold all his hands. A monkey took Luke Schwartz's seat, so he wasn't tempted to play and ruin his chances of making the final. There have been some crazy folds, especially when Yevgeny Timoshenko mucked the kings.
All right, Sky, can you shut up for a bit, because I'm actually thinking.
Eugene Kachalov decided his best tactic was to go all in on every hand. No one wants to repeat the Not-Medics blunder when he knocked himself out of the event back in Season 3.
I don't even know. I guess I'm rooting for you. I don't even
Literally, you can't make the top 8 now, is that right?
Yeah.
Cheers,
guys. Good luck.
That much courage. Come on.
I got courage, but not like that.
So back to this season and the opening stages of this last league match. Everyone can still qualify for the final, and they all have their own strategies to try and get there. They have studied the league table and each know what they need to do in order to win through to the next stage. At this moment in time, however, the players seem to be a little distracted by side bets. Or could this be another tactical move?
Yeah. Can we get Warren
What is
here?
it? Your big blind, 2K.
We need Warren. We need him for the brain. Like 100%. You can just stand here. You can just stand here, be our official brain.
Just on point with everything, or what?
Really such a good brain with every single answer.
So let's give that's a snap.
Even ones where we like bid over. Oh, like we did. What's the number?
Seat
from
6
0 to
raised 4,000
of like the worst looking rachers here.
Yeah.
And we were all bidding up until like whatever we got, and then somebody said bought at like 70.
72.
And then we all went under, and then his was like 52. It's pretty good. And
I haven't
He was on point on other ones.
Seat 7, re-raise 10,000.
Wow, Seiver.
Oh, the one about.
What was
I think he's re-leveling Vanessa here, kind of being like,
I know what you're doing.
yeah, I know what you're doing. I know that you know.
What's the next question?
Forcing Antonio
that you can go all in, so you must have a really strong hand.
And yet, there is an argument that she actually can go all in here because.
With Scott
but she has to.
She
think,
can't because she doesn't cover him.
Okay, and she has to think that he's super strong.
Yeah, exactly. She still might peel because this hand just realizes so much equity
than Scott, by the way.
that this is a much better hand to call than ace-8 off.
A super crush, by the way.
To do Emily different, you know?
Yeah.
With 9-7, you know where you're at the whole time. None of your
I don't think it would go well.
wobbly.
It doesn't look like it would go well.
You'll miss completely.
She did it! Go on, Vanessa! Go on, Vanessa!
She realized it has enough power that, okay, let's just
Tell him who's boss.
Love that play.
She's the short stack on the table. She's bottom of the Premier League table. And she's the boss.
Yeah, she's just the boss all the time.
I know, Phil, you've probably had a lot of those times in your poker career where you've got all your entire bankroll. I know it's been a while probably, but in the early
the whole
days.
bankroll thing. I went broke once in finance, and
We did like 10 in a row that weren't.
gambling and poker.
You never had that? There is no net.
I found out about Kelly Criterion after I went broke one time, and I was a big believer since then.
You are that smart. You never made the same. You never made the same mistake.
Who's in on this? I survive. I have to survive.
You're not. Seat 6, raise 4,000.
We got all the end.
I think it's us four down here, Scott.
I started gambling at the age of 16 and didn't hear the word Kelly Criteria until I was about 36.
Wait, we need Jungle. Jungle! Where's Jungle?
He can write down.
Selbst just picking up all the monsters now.
Oh. Coleman, you want to stand here and be in?
Rast will just call here pre. He won't re-raise.
Yeah. Just stand between JG and Duhamel.
Yeah, stand up here.
Coleman, I thought you were in the booth sweating the hands. I've had some tough. I don't understand why he needs to stand here. I could have been in there if you.
We need the brain here.
So,
That's fine.
That's
But then you can,
Mr. Lush, and obviously everyone knows about Warren Lush, that he used to be Tony G's assistant.
G,
now that
Coleman.
Tony G is not in the Premier
Coleman,
League,
go up and do commentary
Warren
and
is
tell
looking
Jungle
for a new job.
Yeah, we need Jungle.
Tony, by the way, is running for
Lithuanian
something, state council mayor or government.
See, I just do not agree with this play by Brian at all.
I mean, explain it to me here.
I mean, if she rips it in, you're running 60-40 for over a third of your stack.
That's what I think.
Yeah, it's just, if he was sitting there with kings, I would completely understand.
Oh, wow.
See, now he's going to get punished.
And Rast has been so tactically clever this entire Premier
Yeah,
League.
this is a significant mistake. It's
It's
just such a beautiful spot too to call there from the big blind and then flop an ace and let her barrel off. You know.
That's the thinking.
She should rip it here too because
For sure, she loves it.
I mean, she's just gonna bet call the flop.
I would want to bet. Like, if there was
She's
enough
40% against aces. She's not worried about it. She's just gonna bet call.
It's just a chemical thing. Some people can't.
This is a good card for Vanessa.
he's kind of saying to her that he has aces now, which is kind of weird, isn't
She
it?
bet so small on the flop that he would peel 2 overs.
Yeah, he would peel.
If she bet bigger and he called, yeah. I mean, I think he would just check shove with aces.
That's the bet.
Yeah.
6 pick.
Whoa, see,
I think she's worried about the overpair.
No, but that's like the real test. You know?
Good.
Anyone could do that for a
This is gonna go. I think this is honestly gonna go check, bet, call. Yeah, I think he's gonna pay off with ace high.
Wow, could he actually try and turn his hand into a bluff? Feeling like
if he does,
everyone has a price where they would 100% win.
I don't think it makes a lot of sense just because she is so shallow that I can't ever imagine him check calling kings or aces.
But she might fold thinking, wow, he's so sick he's trying to extract value.
I honestly, I think she might pick him off. I think she might pick him off. Because queens shove the flop. They don't. She doesn't.
They don't like float around. and let the little peels.
If he's checking aces, kings. See, I think if she would have took a little bit more time and thought about that.
You would think that.
Because she had 100K, and there was how much was in there on the flop? Like 60,000 or something.
I feel like she's misplayed that hand. If she's intending to do that, she needs to actually just shove the flop.
Shove the flop,
or even the turn.
I think she should call the river.
She didn't think that he was capable of bluffing.
Hair would not look good on you.
Of making a flop.
That hurts.
Yeah, but it's just one of those things. Like she's so shallow after that much money's went all on pre-flop. If he checks the flop, he's checking to go all in with aces or kings because
Right.
Because 6 and 8, a jack, the turns and rivers are so ambiguous that you can't make good decisions. So you need to turn it into a one-street game. Whereas after he's check called the flop, I mean, I think he looks like he has exactly what he has.
Wow.
Because she bet so small, she kept his range really wide. She kept the ace-king in there, and then, yeah, he's going to bluff with it.
Ooh, Vanessa, that hurt.
And Duhamel's just doing what he's supposed to do, being visible. Which hurts, because I need him to go out real soon. It's like Seiver with what he knows.
Yeah, I mean, Mizzi's going to peel the flop.
He's super crushing or super behind. He's not like, well, I'm middle of the... His opponent has an ace and he's crushed, or he doesn't, and he's crushing.
Well, that's true, but from Seiver's, I mean, Mizzi's range is a little wider now. It doesn't have to be super strong pre-flop because he's got so many chips.
Got 131 cushion from
so, like,
average.
You don't really, you're confident that your 3 aces are ahead here most of the time.
You definitely.
I still could see, I was going to say, I could still see Scott check calling here just to keep in the hands that he has near drawing dead, like King 10 or King Queen, and then pot control against all the aces that have him beat. So like Phil was talking about saying it's a way ahead, way behind scenario. Checking accomplishes good things for both.
Because you get the well, Mizzi's not going to be bluffing here that often, but you lose less when the guy's. The funny thing is that king, you have to remember when you have the ace, the king is actually a good card, because if your opponent had a king anyways, he was winning.
Seiver, another one of those players who seems to have made very good tactical decisions throughout this Premier League. He's gotten a bit unlucky.
Yeah, the blog has
what do you see him doing here, Jay? You see check call.
Check call. It's the same thing on the turn. It feels like it. You're not really getting about it. Mizzi's going to see if his hand's good at, especially with the king.
Yeah, it's just going to show down. He might bluff since the jack is like the worst hand he could get with to the river. Queen 10 makes a straight, King Queen at least makes a pair of kings.
Lunkin vibes. Lunkin does it.
And Seiver takes it. Obviously, Seiver chipping up. Bad news for people like Esfandiari. Esfandiari really needs to beat both Seiver and Duhamel, so he's not happy to see Seiver doing well. And Seiver actually looking quite good right now. This all really doesn't play into Phil Locke's hands, who needs poor showings out of that core group of guys that are in the elimination zone. Esfandiari, Seiver, and Duhamel.
Seat 6 raise 6,000.
And yeah, Vanessa's just
7 call.
It's like her rhythm is a little off, and the deck's not cooperating.
Fold.
Well, yeah, and I just think that she needs to understand she has a 40 big blind stack now, so she doesn't have that terminal risk anymore, and it's better like still to open up, but not be opening 8 deuce suited under the gun.
She should look for spots to actually maybe open shove 40 bigs, or even wait till the blinds get a little bigger. And
I think just keep stealing, but steal with more reasonable hands.
Hands that have showdown get to the end like durable, something a little more durable.
You can see the lack of fear she's instilling right now. This is a 4-way flop. They're almost like, do your worst, Vanessa. It doesn't scare us.
And this is the most like, I don't know, decision-y moment for Duhamel, who really needs to not come and bust out. He now has a flush draw.
Yeah,
he loves the free card. He's going to keep this putt super small.
I would have preferred Vanessa betting the flop, just because she can bet the flop and fold to a raise very happily, and on any turn 9 or greater plus any diamond, she's just going to be like, the hand's going to lose its value and she's going to check fold anyways. So I would just treat the 8 as almost a semi-bluff and just try to, 1, accomplish where you're at in the hand, and 2, just like take the pot now, because she's just going to have to check fold it on so many streets.
Now, could Duhamel go for value at this point? He
100%,
really knows he has the best hand.
150%. I like his check on the turn a lot.
Seat 5 bet,
the non-diamond peeling in the river adds a super lot of comfort.
Yeah, and Vanessa's going to pay off here, I think.
It's a super bluff catcher. It's basically...
Really, why would he ever bluff in this spot?
I mean, I don't know if he's ever value betting worse. I don't think he is, but she's getting 3 to 1. The hand's checked all the way down to the river. He could just be making a random stab.
That's a good runoff too for 8 deuce.
Yeah,
making 2 pairs, it's not whatever.
Yeah, that's a good fold. That's a good fold. I wouldn't have faulted her for
2
calling.
people behind her.
Fold.
Duhamel takes one down. He looks like he's kind of, to me, he looks a lot more perked up and lively than he has in the earlier heats. Maybe his A game is in play tonight.
Maybe he's really looked at it and really knows he's not even supposed to play hands.
Does anyone need him?
Just survive and make some money.
Of course, he is the local boy come good, Jonathan Duhamel. I mean, a lot of people, everyone knows how big Canadian poker is, especially the French Canadians. And Duhamel is, in some ways, kind of the godfather of that scene. That, you know, when he won the World Championships, it really spurred on Montreal poker.
Yeah, the guy's just an absolute legend and total party animal.
Yeah, I mean, anybody who travels the circuit these days knows about the Quebecois, you know, all those guys, Duhamel and I think Jason Duval, and there's a whole gang of them.
Marc-Andre Ladouceur, those guys. Those boys like to party.
So you've enjoyed their company, but you never outlasted them, did you? I mean, it's impossible.
No shot. No shot. Those guys are like laughing about someone breaking their ankle the night before. Now, if you saw right there, Rast made a fold with ace-queen offsuit.
Against Mizzi, who it's interesting because Mizzi is one of the guys he has to have his eye on.
Selbst is going to jam here, I think. I think she's just going to go all in.
Mizzi's probably raised this a bit light.
Yeah, it's very light.
I mean, this would be considered bottom of his range. Is it an obvious jam, or is she like, well, I may actually...
No, it's definitely not obvious. It's 40 big blinds. I think the standard's the call, but just for leverage reasons, I think she could just shove. Yeah, it's not his whole stack, but 80K is a fat chunk. I'm not sure what the right play would be there to go all in or to call, because Sorel should be raising tighter than fours. Even though we know he isn't here, I don't think he's open to single hand at the table. So this is going to go check call on the flop. I don't think he'll check back. He could, but it's another one of those things where it's just going to be tough to play turns.
Yeah, it's
see, now she's going to lead the turn and he's going to fold his fours. She may just try to show it down too, but I think the standard's just to lead because you have overs to all those pot controlling hands. And
Mizzi, of course, the one who took most of Vanessa's chips earlier with that river card on the ace-jack board, and now Vanessa's like in one of those spots where she's, in the back of her mind, she's like, people aren't playing the way they're supposed to be playing, and because of that, I'm having trouble figuring out exactly what their range is here.
Yeah, I think she's a little rattled right now. I'm just so confused by both of these lines. I just don't understand what's going on. I mean, the ace-queen check's fine. You can show it down. You have ace-high.
You want to bet 8,000.
But I don't see the point of betting fours here other than for protection, and that just seems way too thin to me. You just show the hand down. Maybe he's just trying to protect his hand from... Oh, he only bet 8K. Yeah, I guess he's just trying to protect it from 6 outs.
Protect it from 6 outs.
Yeah, like if she had 8-9 suited or whatever.
Would she ever pre-flop if she had 2 like 7s? Would she ever just flat?
Yeah, I mean, I think that's kind of the same thing as 8.
Trying to push away 2 outs sometimes?
I don't think so. I don't think he's betting as a bluff ever.
It's almost like she was scared of ace-king before the flop, and now she's scared of ace-king now, and it's just wrapped her up.
Yeah, it's just going to go check-check, and she's going to be mad.
6 check. Check.
I have ace-high.
No good.
She said, I'm so bad.
Jason, I did not think Vanessa Selbst was going to get any tactics wrong today, but I think she believes now that she may have gotten a couple of hands wrong here, and it's really frustrating her.
I mean, honestly, she hasn't made any big mistakes. Like, that hand wasn't a big mistake. Ace-Queen's just, like, the best hand in her bunch. She wanted to just get to showdown and win with it. We can obviously see the other people's whole cards, so we're saying, oh, bluff, so we'll fold fours or whatever.
So very results-oriented.
Yeah, exactly. And overall with her range, I mean, just like I think she's opened a little wide once she got knocked down a little bit, but
I certainly hope Vanessa doesn't pick up the 2 5s. Right?
Yeah,
I really hope she does.
I mean, obviously it's really.
Anybody want to start?
Yeah.
Done.
Now,
Gross won't lose a lot. He'll just call it.
Okay, how about we have to go up by...
C4 call.
1,000.
You have to go by at least 1,000, right? Sure. All right, you have to go by at least 1,000.
I'm telling you, I mean, like, on a king-high board...
This will go call, too. He won't 3-bet this. He'll just set on it.
It's on Scott. Hold on.
They're good, they're good and deep.
But 2 sevens is a way better hand to try and nut up the flop than ace-king, right?
Yeah, but ace-king's just... I mean, I think you do have to call. You do have to call 6K. He's in position.
Dude, why has Seiver done this? This is obviously based on seeing Mizzi's fours and now deciding that Mizzi is loose.
Gross is going to get saved here. Gross is going to get
I tend to never question something Seiver does just because he's so good, but this is this one I would have to ask him about. This one kind of baffles me.
2-6. It's almost like Seiver is playing his position in the league like he's a Vanessa or Dan.
Yeah, I mean, he doesn't even cover Mizzi, so he can't even put pressure on him that way for like his stack either. I don't really understand the play. I would understand, let's say Scott had 600,000, and he's just like, I'm going to go ahead and just put tons of pressure on Mizzi because Mizzi can't bust. He can't get a donut because then he won't be a lock for the final table.
Yep.
But as this hand plays out, I mean, yeah, he can still do a massive chunk of damage to his stack, but
do you think maybe it's a straight equity play with the chips in the pot? I'm going to invest 30 to win some chips and then shut down and
No, I don't think so, because the hand just plays better in a single race pot where you can flop a set rather than, let's say you get called in the 3-bet pot. Now you have 2 sevens, and almost every single board that you don't flop, like pair an open ender or set, you're just check folding or just playing in an awful spot out of position to a good player.
I don't know how long Jeff Gross is going to tank here, but this is a fold 100,000% of the time.
Yeah, he'll
right?
smile and laugh and then just throw his card in the muck.
What do we think about this all-in play? You're only getting maybe called by too narrow a bandwidth. It feels like you're losing a ton of value from a guy that will maybe... what do you think?
Phil, don't you think that he's put Seiver on that
kings
sort of
or
hand?
queens, more likely?
Well, yeah, I think the thing is, honestly, Mizzi is like, if I win this pot, I'm going to have 473,000 chips. I'm going to be able to fold up 2 spots and lock up this final table. I don't really want to take an 82 to 18 to bust or be crippled.
Right. Yeah. So he's just like, these chips
yeah,
have
he's
more
like, give me the chips.
value.
Give me the chips, I'll fold up the ladder and be at the final table. I think that's what he's doing.
Yep.
My Premier League. They give me this. This is absurd.
You could hurt me a lot more than I could hurt you.
No, I just mean like the hands they gave us here is probably ridiculous.
Do you really have a hand?
I would not be taking the time otherwise.
Wow, he's really thinking about it. I wonder if he's just...
Nah, he's Hollywooding. Hollywooding for sure. It's so good to get to see this because I always wonder if he's Hollywooding me in these spots.
A win for Sorel there, and he adds to his chip lead. He has 473,000 chips. For those at the bottom of the league table, Vanessa Selbst, Dan Shak, Scott Seiver, and Antonio Esfandiari. They have a lot of work to do to climb the league standings for any chance to get onto our final table here in Montreal.
It's hard to be confident that when my hope is to be able to make the final table with the bottom stack and chips. So, you know, it'll definitely be a mountain to climb, and there are very tough opponents. But, you know, if I make the final table, I like my chances as much as anyone.
Honestly, I'm just going to try my best, try to win. If I win, things go well. If I don't, there's all sorts of things that could happen, but I'm just focused on trying to win.
I'm for sure the underdog at this point, and I'd love to come out of nowhere and just punish them. So I'm looking to really do well today and put myself in a position to try and win this thing.
Welcome back to Premier League Poker Season 7 from the Playground Poker Club in Montreal. Heat 6 is underway, and this is the deciding match where we find out who makes the final table, who is eliminated, and who goes through to the heads-up stage. Everyone is still in with a chance of qualifying, so while those on the sidelines can only watch on, their fate lies in the hands of the 8 at the table today. Let's get back to the action.
All right, so
these are the current league standings. All 12 players still have a chance to get through. Remember, it's only the top 4 in the league who are guaranteed a seat at our final table after this match. The players highlighted are in this last league match, while the others can only watch on as their fates are decided. Scott Seiver currently
I don't know
on
what I'm
11
doing.
points. I mean,
know that type of I can't call.
look at Mizzi. I mean, things are really good for him right now.
I can't call.
He's thinking about you, Jason. You're in the clubhouse at 29. He's thinking that if he can get more than 3 points or 3 points or more, he's
here
in
to gamble.
at the final table, like over 90% of the
I'm here to gamble. Go for it, buddy. If I get fours, I'm not gonna. Yeah, I don't care. I'm gonna make the heads up no matter what, right?
That's right.
Like I can't not make the heads up. Who cares if I have to play with someone?
Things haven't gone badly for Dan Shak so far. He's only lost 11,000 off his stack.
Yep. Do I get the same
amount of chips?
Not doing well. It's the same as someone. So it doesn't matter.
I mean,
wait, is the heads up here the same amount?
I don't know.
Same amount.
Maybe a king comes, maybe a 7 comes.
But if you make the finals, you get whatever points.
Was just
so
let off the hook hard there.
So
If
right,
king came, we could have seen Jeff Gross making 4 plays and seeing the points thing just like bite another player in the ass.
If you win the heads up, if you win the heads up match, you get your points.
It's so weird.
He didn't want to dive down the rabbit
I
hole.
swear to God, I'm never getting the points thing wrong again. The next time I get invited to this, if they ever have me back for playing so I am going to go into a cave with the monks and I'm going to go over the points thing. I'm going to fold ace king.
Final table is 6.
Well, Mizzi made top pair again. I don't know. That's very interesting turn card.
It's like the one your first Premier League played.
You get the hyper wrap, flush draw, pair draw, double pair draws, 3 of a kind draw, straight
Come on,
draw.
give Vanessa a card.
Blank.
She may value bet the river if he checks again.
I think he's checking to just hold on.
I think he'll bet. She might just side call. I don't know. I didn't really see the way this whole hand went down. It looked like it went raise, call, check, 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 check.
My guess is it's check call, but I'm just guessing.
Yeah, no.
Sorel's
Vanessa,
like so happy to have
min
chips.
bet the flop. And Mizzi called.
He's gonna bet.
Yeah, he's gonna bet. And I don't think it would go check call. It would go check check. I think a bunch with the queen. Yeah, with the queen rolling off on the river. She might, since she does have better than ace high.
I knew she would check as well. I'm saying that in his mind he's prepared.
Well, she folded. Nice hand.
Mizzi running over the table, and Vanessa Selbst, who really needs to trickle up, is trickling down.
Short.
Yeah, she's very short. Very short.
I mean, honestly, she's just run into it, and for the most part has played very good.
Yeah, you can just imagine the permutations had Vanessa Selbst won the pot with the flush against Mizzi's 2 pair. But now, we always knew there was a chance that she could go out 8th. And right now, that's on the cards, and everyone will sit back and see if it happens.
Yeah, it's a real bummer, because I think it would have been more exciting to just sit and watch her just bulldoze everyone. Maybe we'll still get that chance.
4,000.
And she's keeping, this is the last time on the level, she's keeping now down to the min raise.
Yeah, and now she'll have a 15 big blind stat going into 2-4.
Fold. Two call.
Esfandiari peeling off here. He's thinking, well, she can't hurt me that much. She can only knock me down to starting stack.
Wow, she's going to hurt him for 60,000.
Check.
Yeah.
This is, and you were like, well, she can take 60,000 and she's about to.
Exactly, yeah. She's going to get him here. This is just going to go check raise all in.
6 bet 3,000.
So,
I don't understand the small bet. I don't know why she would do that. I mean, yeah,
can
you
he
do
pot control and lose?
No,
he has to lose the whole thing.
No, he's 100% check raising the flop.
I mean, it's like.
Let's do another question.
No, he's locked in.
C2 raise 13,000 total.
Yeah, she's just going to go all in.
He's locked in. We've already
Right spot in the patch of ivy for Vanessa Selbst.
You're at 20, so it's on me?
Yeah.
How many people are we doing?
Us 4.
4 of you at 4? Who's the last one?
She just called. That's fine.
Called.
That's fine. There's no flush draws or anything out there.
That's a super blank.
Yeah.
Oh, wait a minute. Yeah, 2 of spades,
Yeah. Yeah, so he's just going to shove the turn and get snapped off.
Scott, if I came over there like all the way around and gave you a hug, would you accept it?
Of course.
That's what Phil Locke would do. I feel like I should do the same.
True.
And I'm going to do the exact same hug Phil Locke would do as well.
I don't even know what the Phil Locke hug
You have
is.
to sit there and I have to do this.
Comes over the top.
Oh.
Like this.
Yes, that is the
Like
Phil
he
Locke
just puts
hug.
his head down.
He just rests the head.
He rests it and he sometimes he does a little this. No, that's
she has
my
no
own
idea.
Then you have to make up a really convoluted way of talking about
what if he has free 10 when you've ever called? Are these
and how often, you know,
like why is
Burning Man has over 20,000 people.
Call.
All in call.
She's so happy to finally just one-up somebody.
Nice hand.
I think it's the first time in 4 heats.
Yeah, let's see if she can.
First time.
Let's see if she can dodge
She
it.
has always been just 1 notch behind. Finally, Vanessa Selbst,
Like
1 notch ahead.
And that's good. It'll make for
How much
some
is
fun
it?
TV if she fades it.
30 what?
39.
And 118,000 in there, so Selbst.
Could have hurt a lot more if
39, yeah.
If she had chips, she's thinking if I had
I
chips,
lose every other pot before that.
I could have hurt you.
Yeah, now she has 30 big blinds though, which means she's going to get to open.
First level in the books, and as far as Premier League permutations go, the range is still uncapped. But with Vanessa Selbst, the short stack, and Sorel Mizzi, the big stack, you kind of think, guys, the odds are that the leaderboard is going to finish the way it is.
Yeah. All the other stacks, 7 through 2, are about the same anyway, so there's still a lot to pan out.
Seems like we can understand what everybody's up to. But Brian Rast has been, to me, a little bit of a mystery so far. I think he's just trying to stay ahead of the curve to keep his options open.
You know, I really haven't seen enough hands. Like outside of the Ace-King 3-bet, everything else he's done seemed in line. I just think, that, yeah, like I said, I think the Ace-King was slightly bad. His river bluff is fine, but...
This is a standard call in regular poker on the button.
Exactly, yeah.
Call 8,000.
It's funny, you see like a lot of mistakes being made pre-flop, like people being a little too loose, but post-flop, all the play is really, really passive. So if I were Vanessa, I would kind of pick up on that in a number of hands and just start applying tons of pressure post-flop, because it seems like post-flop's going very honest. Although pre-flop, these guys are still calling a little too wide. Yeah, this is interesting.
Just hit Shak kind of in a weird way.
Yeah, but these are the kind of boards Shak likes to put a lot of money in, so...
I feel like he might go all in on this one.
I could see like a bet of like 18,000
and then like
him
150.
Just, yeah, exactly.
Or something insane.
I actually think that's really likely.
18,000.
Let's see.
Yeah,
I'm going to go with 65 to fold or call.
Oh, he is
18,000 call.
I like that. Fold. We got a chance to turn some outs. I'm cheering for Vanessa. I want to see her get a stack.
Or 123. He said
poker fans want to see Vanessa Selbst in the big stack as well.
Absolutely, yeah. It's just
think about it. Like, is Dan going to be able to accomplish what I need from these other players going out?
Yes,
no,
Dan,
Vanessa, not as well. This is turning his hand into the floor.
25,000.
Yeah, we should do
Fold. 25,000.
Wow. And he's gonna sand trap spider at Shak. He's gonna be invisible and use his image and the whole thing. And he's gonna. Yeah, you know, and because no one wants to play a hand with a guy that you know always has it. You know, but he does it at Shak.
I think by far the toughest tournament I've ever played in was the last Premier League. I think it was all about the strategy. Obviously, I got good cards. I think I played well. When I went back and reviewed it, I didn't see myself getting lucky all that often.
All in. He's going all in. That's gotten serious.
That last hand, I had to be the most tense time of my life. It was about 5:30 in the morning after we had played 6 days straight. Jesse May did say it, and Phil Hellmuth, I was swinging for the fences, you know, and I was swinging for the fences. You know, I really didn't feel like, you know, I had much more left in me, and I went for the win.
I have no idea what you have.
I was more nervous about having to continue to go on because it really was a grueling week of poker.
He's cold! It's over!
Nice shove, Dan.
Thank you. No pro has gone back-to-back in the Premier League. So for an amateur to be able to go back-to-back, you know, other than winning the main event of the World Series, I think there could be no achievement that I would want more than that.
I need Duhamel to go out soon. It doesn't look like it's happening. You know, he's just sitting there with 300. He's folding everything.
240. Let's go.
Call 4,000.
I don't like it.
I think she should just min raise.
Fold.
What?
It's so true though, right? Like,
but what you were saying earlier is everyone's calling anything free flop. She does have the jack. How about let's steal on the flop? You were just saying a second ago she can get away with that more because they're playing so long.
Yeah, but it's easier to get away with it when your head's up.
Yeah, instead of 4 people. Yeah, that's true.
It'll be like here it's like actually
just from doing this.
Sorel Mizzi has limped behind Vanessa.
It's a statement of I have 483,000 in chips.
I don't think it's a good play though.
Yeah.
I really don't.
Like if you just kept
how long
those arms got tired. But they can't kick you out, right? Like
fold.
That's a good fold.
There's just no way they could if you just keep screaming and doing this.
For Brian Rast, so it seems like a loose call on the button. However, he is keeping his eye on Mizzi, and there is that argument.
Yeah.
Because for him, taking chips for Mizzi is direct result.
Oh my lord, look at this powerful
Check.
flop. How can Selbst get the money?
She needs to bet this flop.
Wow.
Yeah, it's wet, and it's double wet, straights and flushes.
And you just, there's just so many
What is
bad turn
Rast
cards for
doing
Jack
here?
7. 8, 9, 10,
I
bad,
guess you don't want,
bad,
I guess
spades
it's your
bad.
first act.
Fold.
You don't want, you want somebody to get dishonest.
I think she's just going to raise now. She should, as shallow as she is. She's not that deep. There's 33K in there. She has 90K, yeah, so.
Fold.
Yeah, I don't think 6 high is going to be calling her. And just like little mistakes like that by Rast, I just don't think are good. This isn't a deep stack. This isn't a deep stacked cash game. Like
it's not Macau. This is trickle down poker.
Yeah, exactly. More often than not, you're gonna flop bottom or middle pair, and you're gonna have to peel one with your.
Or you'll be in there with a draw that's not solid.
Exactly.
You know?
Yeah, it just doesn't.
And if we do get into, or this devolves into serious ladder situation, every chip is sacred.
Every chip matters.
Because there could be a super satellite situation happening where a guy has to go one more spot and two people square off and go down to the nubbins.
Yeah. Absolutely.
I think yours would look. I think yours would look the next best. You're probably my #1 preference.
I think even in the 1K, 2K level, I wouldn't have hated it as much, like 150x deep or whatever. You're just not even that deep to be limping offsuit 6 high.
I might even be second.
How do you order it?
320 on you, Antonio.
Awesome. That's scary.
Having like just looked at these guys, not who's under, but who's feeling the pressure the most of these 8? Do you think?
Bet 8,000.
Feeling it?
I think Duhamel and I mean Antonio is probably feeling a sense of urgency.
Fold. Fold.
Maybe those guys.
Fold.
Antonio is definitely a guy who he's had to. He doesn't like not being able to play his game.
Yeah.
And you can see, Antonio's got a game, and when Antonio can play it, he's the happiest man alive.
Yeah.
And this is not his game.
He's very good at his game, too, when he gets to play it.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, everyone here is very good at what they do. It's just, this is a unique format. Wow, this is going to work, I think. I don't think Seiver can call here with ace-jack off.
Scott Seiver starting the hand with 300,000.
Yeah, no, he can't call.
Vanessa's got 118. Big downside for him? What's the upside?
Absolutely.
What's the upside?
Massive downside. Upside is he very rarely has her dominated, and he's still running almost 30% to lose. And if she's shoving with like 8-9 suited, they're almost flipping.
And as far as the dynamics on the leaderboard go,
yeah, he has 11 points. He needs points. So
right, but he would rather take chips away from Duhamel and Antonio,
but who are not playing hands, so it'll be hard for him to get those chips.
Yeah, that's a really strong move by Vanessa. It's a risky one, but worked out this time. I think it's quite risky. Scott's been pretty tight pre-flop.
Some of these plays are only risky if your opponents haven't done the homework. If you've done the homework and your opponents have done the homework, then they're less risky. But it's kind of risky. You're wondering, has he done his homework? Like
if
Mizzi
anyone's
didn't
done
do
the homework, Seiver's done the homework.
Correct, but like you'd think Mizzi would have done the homework. He hadn't done the homework.
It feels like Vanessa said something to me. She goes, "Well." Before she said, "Well, I know how they're supposed to play," and almost like everyone took this first level, at least Vanessa, to not figure out how they're supposed to play, but to figure out how they were playing. Right, and now she's prepared.
I knew it.
Yeah, and I'll tell you what, she's I just noticed like kind of a boost in her posture. It looks like she's kind of feeling a little momentum right now. We might see some good play out of her. That's good.
that Antonio's better.
Yeah, I know, and I'd like Rast today. I think Rast is dialed in today.
Fold.
Yeah, that's correct.
He was definitely dialed in yesterday, that's for sure. He was dialed into Mr. Phil Locke's brain.
The dollar's not doing so well.
Yeah, so sometimes when you're pressed up against the wall and it's you're going to make your call for your whole Premier League with ace-8.
And he's got to go to Burning Man.
You know, you just do it.
Can you ever remember being owned like that in a pot? I'm sure
that was
it's
severe
happened to you
ownage.
before.
That was one of my biggest ownage moments.
It's quite ambitious to open deuces into Vanessa's small blind.
Let's see why. 1.2 to 1.
It is.
Yeah.
And she's having a look because she says she saw the king 6. In her mind, he might not have, shouldn't have even defended there.
Oh wow, Seiver's got one too. This is going to be interesting.
Do you think she might just want to send a message here?
I could definitely see her shoving it.
so good because I was like, Rast is out of his mind, but he's
those extra chips.
so well.
Also,
you know what I mean?
it's like
I just knew
her fold equity goes up because that stack is that much thicker and juicier.
Yeah, if these guys are going to be opening deuces, she gets to. She honestly could just move all in with almost any two. If she knows they're
Once
opening
you
that
know
wide.
their range of
Yeah. And
I think his real number is like
there should be 3 people at this table she can punish, and those 3 people are Duhamel, Esfandiari, and Scott Seiver. They should only worry about each other. And for Seiver, he should be taking this on because Esfandiari is a guy he gets direct benefit from beating.
Yeah, don't worry about that. He's not going to be folding this.
I'll bet up to 500. Call 9,000.
Don't worry about that.
And when you have deuces, you just want those folds.
No problem.
You want to call late position with 6 people in there for a deuce, but when it's heads up, this,
yeah, 3.5 to 1, 3.5 to 1, 500 to whatever that is.
This will go check call.
1650.
1750.
Okay.
All right, what is it?
Might pick up for 1 year.
Yeah.
Seiver's just going to bet twice. I mean, he'll probably just win now, but
I don't know what his mind's like. That was such a short thing.
if he had the jack of spades, his hand would be different. He had, it's
11,000.
no, he's in position. He
oh
checked.
wow, so it went check. So now it would just,
I gotta take 3.5 to 1.
do you call or do you raise? I guess
Oh, he's calling.
just call. You want to let your opponent think. If the spade comes, he'll be a little not feeling good.
Call.
How are you out on this, Flunkin?
Antonio will be 100% shut down.
Sorel is
Sorel
is getting slaughtered today, actually.
Is that it?
That's the hand over. Check.
I mean, he loses so much by losing a big pot to Seiver that should he try and bluff this and just double down on it?
He's going to get snapped if he does. This is one of the very best hands Scott can have.
JG 200, me plus 200, Antonio plus 200, Dan plus 500.
So a little knockback for Esfandiari, a big knock up for Scott Seiver. He's got 11 points. If he can outlast Esfandiari,
I mean, you couldn't have liked going that high.
it's looking very good for him in the Premier League.
To be honest, I was just on autopilot.
And Scott Seiver's a guy.
Were you buying next Rast, or you were going to go a little bit more?
As anyone in this Premier League.
I wasn't going to buy soon.
Yeah,
I don't know if
that hand just was another one. It just didn't make a lot of sense.
Yeah, exactly. No, knowing what we.
Welcome back. This is the Playground Poker Club in Montreal, where we still have a full table of 8 for our last league match. It's getting exciting down on the felt with all of our 12 players still in with a chance of qualifying. Let's get back to your commentary team led by Jesse May.
Good lotting crew.
So this is kind of panning out like we thought it would be. Almost every stack is just hanging on right at starting stack. So there's going to be some fireworks when the blinds are big. It's going to be like a lot of shoving and a lot of guys just trying to fold up the ladder.
Jason, who has surprised you the most of these 8 so far in that they've not done what you expected?
It's honestly been pretty close to what I expected outside of just everyone in general playing a little bit too loose pre-flop.
And why has Scott Seiver decided to shadow? I mean, obviously he's got a hand here, but it seems like in general he has flatted a lot of her opens.
That's just his style. Is just to see flops. He plays very well post flop, and he wants to. I don't know if it's necessarily right or wrong. He is towards the bottom of the ladder, and I think he's trying to play for a stack here. But he is not the kind of guy to create a bunch of variance pre-flop. He likes to make his decisions on turns and rivers.
Is Esfandiari all right to get in this hand with Queen 10 of clubs in the button? Is that hand strong enough?
Well, I feel like once Scott's come in, that should affect his decision.
It feels like I don't.
Yeah, I think you should just stay out of the way
Stay
here.
out of the way.
Okay,
it feels like stay out of the way because I mean that's why you just fold.
Wow, here we go.
Oh wow, look at this.
Okay, I like that a lot.
She's super durable.
This saves Antonio. Antonio gets to get off the hook here.
What is King Rast
now
going to do?
This is why Rast got to stay out of the way with these hands. I mean, honestly,
as far as the Premier League is concerned, if he calls and wins, his permutations for making the top 4 open up.
They open up, but if he calls and loses, he is now the shortest stack at the table.
Permutations for him not even making the top 8.
That's the thing.
Making the top 8.
Open up.
Have outs against the nuts.
Have the nuts. I'm not thinking about it. Don't worry.
Really?
I'm more than willing to gamble 130 with the nuts.
I would think about it.
If I had the nuts, I'd be more than willing to gamble. It does not have 8-9.
I mean, this isn't for my tournament life, Vanessa.
I understand that, but...
And third is worth a lot to me, so... I know you have, like, king, queen, maybe queen 9, maybe ace x of spades. I like ace x of spades a lot.
You like ace x of spades?
Yeah, he knows this is big decision.
Why do you like... Oh, you have ace jack.
Of hearts.
Ace jack of hearts?
Is it good? I'm going to be shocked if it's not good. But it's probably 60%. 60 if I win this pot.
I feel like that Brian is thinking to himself, the upside in not having to play the heads-ups is of such a big premium. Not only, listen, I mean, not only do you not have to play the heads-ups, but you're probably getting almost twice as many chips at the final table, have such a bigger chance to win. I mean, I don't know how you quantify that, but I think that has to be factored into his decision.
For sure. He's even mumbling out 60%, even if I'm 60%
Right.
like
That's what he's doing.
It's 130, you said, right?
And like he showed in Heat 3,
he feels like he's 60ish.
Yeah,
he doesn't
showed
know.
in Heat 3 how courageous he is if he wants to, if he feels like he's right.
144. Can you just slide that?
He is an underdog against her range. Even if she's jamming king, queen, and queen 9 and flush draws, he's an underdog.
Yeah, but there is the positive. I mean, it's
300.
You know,
but let's say someone said, "Hey Brian, would you like to flip?
Close.
I'll take 54%. You take 46%. For if you lose, you have 130. If you win, you have 450." Would he want to do that? Or whatever? There's no shot he would want to do that.
He passed.
Figure it out eventually.
Yeah, it's the right play.
Is a machine.
Like literally, I think it's really close, Vanessa. It's a tough one.
Rast is gonna see the ball with playing hands. It's tough.
I really do.
I could just have you beat.
Yeah, Vanessa does not seem to think it's close.
I know she doesn't, but it's in her interest at this moment not to think it's close.
I couldn't have you beat.
I would bet a lot of money at even money, like the farm, that you don't have me beat. I bet like.
I would bet she had like under 30% against ace jack. I would have put those chips in so fast.
I wish I could.
This is the post-mortem needle.
Now they're going to be a bet.
Seiver.
Now they're going to bet.
You could have like ace 8 or something.
Scott, if you can tell how he's like Hollywood and small hands, he's also good at tilting people. I don't think he believes
I couldn't have 200s unless I had a flush draw also.
And actually, there's tension on this table right now because you saw that Rast got a little bit hot when Vanessa.
No one wanted to take that bet about her. He said, "I know I had the best hand currently at 11,000 Jack," and everyone kind of believed it. So no one really wanted to bet it. It was a funny thing that she had 10-7. See how the market died instantly.
Well, this is going to be a fun hand.
It's definitely in Scott Seiver's interest to try and tilt Brian Rast. That's for sure. And.
Rast did not. I want to say he didn't learn, but like what Jeff Gross will probably fold. It's consistent with how Gross plays this. He's what? We gonna take ace queen forehand when point. Look at his smile. The smile says fold. He knows that in the box we might be. I think so too.
By the way, Phil.
It's like
I kind of like the way if you're going to make those folds, just do it quick. Don't think, right?
I think
just do it.
I can't believe you think it's a crush.
Jeff is having the discipline to do it. You know, he smiles and he chucks in the much.
He sees the irony.
Yeah, well, he's going to have the chip lead at the final table because of this.
Exactly.
I would love getting a price on a price that it's a call.
Who's
gonna resolve it? I don't know. We asked somebody. I stole up. We know Seiver, right? Yeah, we know Seiver, so we can ask Scott.
I really like Scott.
15,000.
So bet on Phil Galfond.
Phil Galfond.
Or Jason.
That would be the most qualified.
Fold. The bet they want to say.
You're saying with the dynamic, the whole dynamic. Right?
Obviously.
Yeah.
No PBF. We're talking about just a hand.
See, you know, this is what's great about this check call.
Yeah, I'll bet on Phil Galfond if you want to lay 2 to 1.
What? And he says it's a call?
Check.
Yeah. Yeah, I'll take call.
Check.
He doesn't want to run it with sevens, but his hand has so much equity, he can comfortably call 2 straights against almost
anything.
anything.
You're saying it's not even that a call. You're saying he should fold.
I'm saying he should fold.
Yeah, I folded, so I'm obviously think it was close, but I did fold, and so
But
I'll
you
take 2 to 1.
It's closer than 2 to 1. So.
I kind of think Shak's going to stick with this give-up line.
Nice.
Goes out of pair.
Seiver takes it. And yeah, I think what Brian Rast is kind of continuing on, trying to make a bet there, Seiver taking it, that he thinks it was pretty close. And, you know, it's...
And he's willing to bet that it was a call. Selbst agrees.
That it was a call. No, he's willing to bet it was a call.
Oh, really?
He wants 2 to 1 odds.
Oh, he wants 2 to 1. Yeah. Oh, that's interesting. I didn't know that.
That he can, that the judge they nominate will say that it's a call. And
well, here's the thing.
I like his side of that, to be honest.
Well, I think that they assume that her ranges are much wider than what they really are. Whereas if you look up here, like, yeah, she's opening a lot, but she's not pumping a lot of money in the middle without some kind of equity.
Right. I think Brian Rast's big point will be that when you look at how much it means to be in the top 4. I mean,
absolutely,
like,
it's huge.
Brian Rast is in a spot right now where if he ends up getting 6th or 5th in this heat and whittling down, and the dynamics don't work out, he's going to be disappointed in that call. I mean, in that
call. Call 11,000 full.
This table is a little bit like a popcorn kettle, and you know, it's just the pressure is going to keep getting there until one player gets knocked out, and then it all pops. But until that happens, it dials in.
Call.
Vanessa was a little handcuffed there and just decided to let go of her ace rag, mostly because of the Shakinator opening. It's just
I think that she's being very deceptive here, and she's tightening up her ranges on the fly, and I don't think that people are going to adjust correctly to it. She's going to get a bunch of chips with good hands.
Yeah, good point. And now, if Seiver wasn't in this hand, I actually think Esfandiari would try and steal it from Shak. They have that kind of relationship. But now, Shak's going to win the whole thing.
I think that there's a chance he will. I also think that there's a reasonable chance that Scott will go ahead and check raise this flop. Yeah. Yes, so Scott.
I just wonder, wasn't there a chance that if Scott did check raise, that Shak would have just gone all in? Like,
yeah, he can definitely do that.
He can explode.
Yeah.
Check.
Seiver's in a weird spot because now he has a value hand, but he's really thinking. I mean, Shak is selling the ace king so realistically.
Well, he kind of is.
35,000.
I would believe he has ace king, right? And I wouldn't even put him on aces. I would just say, oh, that's ace king.
Yeah, it's a weird spot because he knows that the jack is very good for Scott.
It's been a long time since
okay, at this point, I believe Shak is completely done. He's like, my opponent's holding on with a legitimate hand.
Wow, he might bluff now.
He might bluff.
Bomb it, baby. Bomb it. Come on,
no,
Shak.
his mind, on a turn, he was locked into I'm done with the hand. I feel it.
Yeah, but the ace, man,
the ace
that
is a
changes
super card. He loves taking advantage of those super cards. He might get it through. Shak, here's what Shak has that we don't give him too much credit for. Now you're like, oh my god.
I think there's a reason, like a small chance that Seiver shoves.
85,000.
It's Shak. I mean, you know.
Yeah.
It's the Shak.
It's a great hand. No, it's a great hand.
Queen
go,
7,
Dad,
Shak,
go.
Attack.
Yeah, that's a great hand.
I'll tell you what. Could he sneak up on the rail, take this heat down, and make the final table?
Welcome back to Montreal's Playground Poker Club. This season, our lineup plays 4 heats in a bid to accumulate points. Those in the bottom 4 league positions will be eliminated after this game. Let's find out how our players are getting on and hand back over to your commentators.
Okay, so no. So
Jason Koon and Phil Lott are joining me in the box for this final league match. And both players will be keenly watching this as Koon could be pushed out of his top spot place, and Lott could be kicked down to the elimination zone. And all they can do is watch on. Lines are 2 and 4,000.
And then we just decided that
Mizzi seems to be the most talkative at the moment.
And that's like the origins
Pressure
of the
seems to be off him.
But since then, it's like developed into something even more special. I saw 3 Lunkins once. I saw the Mr. Lunkin, Mrs. Lunkin, and the
action
Lunkin
is folded
child.
around this evening.
And
11,000.
I ran pretty good that week.
Call.
As Vanessa has taken a little bit of her foot off the gas, Seiver has not pre-flop.
Yeah, I assumed that was going to happen.
He's probably pretty happy with his seat at this table.
Absolutely loving it.
So, I'm curious. Now, of course, we're all flatting ace-7, closing the door on action, trivial, blah, blah, normal poker. How about this? In these dynamics, is it still...
Check.
Can he fold? Could he have folded that?
He doesn't like his hand right now, Antonio, does
he has Shak who flatted.
Check.
And Shak, we have Seiver who's tricky.
I just kind of think, Phil, that,
look at this turn.
Antonio shouldn't mind playing pots against Scott because they're they do have this repartee right
They do, but I'm saying, can you mathematically defend with ace-7?
Antonio has top pair, Shak has a pair open-ended straight flush draw, and Seiver turned to straight.
I mean, this
wow, you're so right. What's going to happen?
There's a chance that Shak just pumps a ton of money in the middle. I think he likes to do that sometimes with strong hands,
and he knows that these people.
He did it! He did it! He went all in!
He's getting
this
snapped.
is going to save Antonio.
No, he's getting snapped.
Seiver's going to go in.
Seiver's never folding.
Yeah, that's
ever,
correct.
With number 2 here.
This is posturing by Antonio, which is fair.
Wow, and now Scott's going to have to fold a bunch of draws.
Call.
Yeah.
He snap called. Shak snap shoved.
Wow,
Seiver
spade,
and Shak covers Seiver. Spade or king, and it is, well, spade is Scott Seiver's Premier League.
That was a bad turn for me.
Don't worry, I haven't won a single all-in-all Premier League.
Me neither.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I've had the actual nuts every time.
This is not the nuts.
Here. Let's see.
Wow, and just like that.
Bit of river that Scott Seiver has seen in the day.
I have I don't think so after the pot you did off me, I think they're going to have me.
They're about to get run over.
They're about to get Seiverized.
Yeah.
He is
that
the Premier
turn
League
was just
Poker
a killer.
Season 5 champion.
250.
He's handled his beats well up to this point, and there's your defending champion, Dan Shak, who actually probably made a play that should have been within his game plan.
Yeah. Well, it's very, very high variance, but he had a massive equity hand. Scott checked the flop, so it's unlikely he had a monster hand. Really, the only monster he could have is that turn straight.
Next hand, the blinds go up.
And the players will, I think, they'll take a short break, and I wouldn't be surprised if they all spend the break looking at the sheet because, you know, a lot of things, dynamics are going to change seven-handed, and one of the things that changes, I think Vanessa might decide that Scott Seiver having chips is not the worst thing for her.
How much do you have in the
Duhamel continues to do poorly. Because I think a lot of situations where Scott Seiver comes first and Vanessa Selbst comes second, she still makes the heads up.
Yep. And now we have a funny thing.
Just not a good play.
With the Rast hand, you know?
Yeah,
the Rast hand, the ace-jack suited.
Need to fold those hands.
He needs to fold right now.
Absolutely.
And I wonder if Vanessa should be.
She might just go for the free 30,000 in there. There's a shot.
What's the deal with matches first? What time is that?
But the thing that she might have, by the way, if
I mean, what does Mizzi have here? What's Mizzi's range right now?
It's so hard to shove because Mizzi should be opening so tight.
And he does cover everyone at the table except for Seiver.
Yeah.
Although Seiver's in the big blind.
Yeah. Yeah, it's really, I mean, he should just have such a nutted range. It's really hard to just ship it in there.
I mean, how often should Seiver shove if Vanessa folds? That's
the funny thing is, it comes down to this.
Oh, that's funny. He actually may just go all in with deuces if she folds. I didn't even think about that.
I mean,
Seiver
is it the correct play? It might be, right?
Or
does he have so many chips now that he needs to protect himself because he's the guy that could actually get third place still and get into the heads up?
Well, I'm nearly certain that Mizzi, he needs to ladder, right? He 100% needs to ladder.
Mizzi 100% ladder.
Yeah, so he could only call with, let's say, kings plus in this spot. Scott decided to take a lower variance spot, but I really wouldn't hate just shipping it all in, knowing that his calling range is maybe he calls with queens, and I think that may be incorrect.
Oh, wow.
So he doesn't think he can rely on Mizzi right there. So.
Exactly, yeah, that's about it. Like, he doesn't know if he knows.
And that's part of it, what I was trying to say before, but I couldn't spit it out.
Yeah.
You have to know. And then you also have to know what your opponents know, in theory, and if they're capable of playing by the correct theory.
You have to know what the new knows.
Yeah, and it's awful heartbreaking when you ship it in and just get snapped off by aces and you have 2 outs.
That's 10-minute break now, guys.
That's it. We're on the dinner break. Duhamel just took it with the
blinds will be going up, and Duhamel doesn't know what he's supposed to.
Jonathan Duhamel, 2010 World Series of Poker main event champion. Winning the main event just changed everything. It changed my poker career, changed the way I was living. Now I just started traveling all around the world, playing all those big tournaments and compete against the best in the world. It's pretty prestigious to be here because not only you have to bring in $125,000 as a buy-in, but first you got to be invited also. There's a lot of people who would like to play in that event but are not getting invited. Well, it's fun to be out there and play against, you know, the best of the best. Also now we're in Montreal, so just another motivation for me to go out there and try to win it. It's definitely a very tough lineup over there. A lot of very good, talented players, so we're all gonna bring our A game and gonna need a little bit of luck, and hopefully you're gonna see me on the final table.
Lines up to 3 and 6,000. Still a full table of 8. The popcorn kettle is oily right now. The heat is being turned up, and Dan Shak is very short. He's down to about 15, 14 big blinds right now. They will definitely be waiting on to see what he does.
Fold. But I'm not happy with it. I'll wait for you guys to do your side.
Someone wants action.
I'll give you guys
for sure.
action.
She will take anybody on
six
here.
rates, 12,000.
She needs to take anybody on here.
It's funny, like, if these guys...
And Shak might shove.
Get it here,
Shak might shove.
Yeah, she might get it here.
Shak might shove. These are the kind of spots where if he's doing...
He's covering his neck. Oh, I folded.
I'm good. I'm a 200.
Not what should he have thought about shoving there?
I might
have been the right play.
96,000.
Against her range, maybe.
Yeah. You don't want more?
Yeah, against her range, maybe.
All in.
What?
All Warren in.
What do you want action? Which side do you like?
Neither.
It's a good line, right?
I'll lay you. I'll lay you 1,100.
See one call.
I think Mizzi, can't he get in some tough spots post flop?
Absolutely, yeah. I don't agree with any of this.
I really think that's horrible.
Now he's gonna have to check call.
You really want to, you.
Check.
Yeah, this is leaking chips.
I'll do 200 to 240.
It's just, you're not thinking in terms of chip EV here. You're thinking about climbing ladders.
Yeah, and that's why it switches. By the way, you can defend 7-8 to the moon grows cheese head. Whatever. You just do it all day long. You want to be but with the points thing, it's just this is what we're talking about. Really.
Now he does have Selbst covered by a long way, and I guess that's in the back of his mind. I could actually empty out my clip here and still be survivable.
One call.
But
he'll probably.
She may ask him to empty out the clip.
If a 7 or 8 comes, he's getting it. You know.
Yeah.
Now a 9 makes a straight to the Mizinator.
How big should Vanessa bet here overall?
There's 65. She started with one. So she has around 2 times the pot. Wow, I can't believe she checked that.
Why?
I think you have to go for value against like Jack, whatever.
That's a real bad check.
Why'd she do it?
She just doesn't want to get stacked by a lot of the hands in his range, but it's more important just to win the pot and protect against all these hands.
I agree.
And she has no net, you know, for her.
Check.
10K now.
So sick.
Very happy.
Don't do it.
Oh no, she's gonna check, but she's not gonna bluff.
1.2.
I don't love this one. I don't love this one.
He kind of knows that if Sorel has like a Jack 8, even though it's not straight, he's going to call. Her hand has lots of showdown value against hands that would fold. Like, yeah, there you go. She's going to be sick.
Second time she's gotten rivered with the queens in this heat alone.
Yeah, he wants.
You're really only losing to Jack 10 or 8-9
What do you want to
there.
bet?
I'm not even sure if 8-9 peels with just the
I'll
gutter.
bet. I need to get unstuck, so I just want to gamble.
On the
I'll
turn,
bet.
so it's real sick.
Down a lot.
Huh?
500
And like if she's going to play that for 10 above her stack, Jason, would it be better for her to be 3 and 4 exit pre-flop or betting pot size on the flop, or is that still not smart?
I think it's just fine to go ahead and play your standard approach, but just overall with that stack depth, there's 65 in there, you've got 150 back. You should just go ahead and bet.
I'll tell you what. I'll take 1.8 for another $200.
I believe Jason Koon is absolutely perfectly in line there.
Seat 7 call.
It's like the chips in the pot.
Fold.
It's not like a cash game. They're worth so much survival. Having the chips, keep looking at hands.
And like we were talking about with good honest poker, I mean, maybe, I don't think she could bet fold the turn, but it's not like she has to worry about getting someone left off her hand. She's not going to bet, and he's not going to check jam a gutter on the turn.
Correct.
You know?
You're right. So it's not since that's not in his range.
I mean, if we like it, I feel like we have to.
All right. Check out this trap Scott Seiver has set here.
Perfect's good.
Option.
So was the limp, why has Seiver limped, and was it trappy enough?
Well, he just got Vanessa.
He got Vanessa's money.
Would he have her even if he had min-raised?
Yeah, he's just, Seiver's just all about balance. It might not even be that necessary, but in his own mind, he always wants to balance all of his limps. So if he's limping the weak stuff, he wants to have aces in his range. And if you notice, whenever him and I were heads up, we were doing a lot of button trapping against one another.
You don't want to bet small,
and that was just for balance.
And Vanessa's out of this Premier League.
Yeah,
she's out of this Premier League.
Yeah, she's done.
Things don't have to raise.
Nothing makes sense.
500, you got it.
I'm all in.
Seat 7,
She's
re-raise
so
all in.
sad. She knows he has it.
Fold.
Take it down. How does London do it?
Nothing has gone right for Vanessa Selbst in this Premier League.
Just run into it so much.
This is the end.
Yeah, and there's been 2 queens folded and a queen 10, so it's going to be pretty hard for her to run out the Broadway.
It's been a fun Premier League.
Right now, Selbst 4% here, and 96% of the time, her tournament's over.
Yeah.
Almost just checked.
Ooh, 10. Just got some backdoor hope.
Backdoor.
2 queens and
or
3 king.
A 2-3 could do it.
Oh,
a
yeah,
2-3 king, queen.
Yeah, that's
basically without that, or a jack for the
game over.
If a jack came, she could actually hit another jack, but she was thin.
Yeah.
She's had a lot of difficult spots, Vanessa Selbst. Seems that she just ran into it a lot of times.
Yeah, that 25 big blind shot's completely standard in my opinion. Scott's
will prevail.
Open limping a bunch of stuff that just flops well that Shak is way in front.
Somebody's got to win them all. Why not Lumpkin?
And for Selbst, the bagel there officially ends her Premier League.
That's small blind, big
and
blind.
for a lot of players, they're not unhappy to see the back of her because it's going to make their chance to get to the final table that much stronger.
Yeah, game's changed now. Jeff Gross is back in action, basically. It's like he just got tagged back in the wrestling match.
Can you just go? Just go. Is this a nice angle?
I have a feeling that little trap was more meant for me.
That little trap was meant for anybody who wanted to buy.
Am I upset? Yes, I'm upset. I ran like crap the entire Premier League. What do you want? I mean, like, I didn't play that well. I don't know. What do you, I mean, you want like a, like, what do you, like, you're, I mean, I'm just. Yes, it sucks. I wanted to do better, and I didn't, and that sucks.
Vanessa Selbst clearly very upset. Let's see how this affects the league table. Jeff Gross can now open things up. He will go ahead of Dan Coleman now. Everybody else is still in with a chance of making it through. But for Selbst, she leaves with 0 points today, and she's the first player to be eliminated from this season's event.
We've lost Vanessa from this Premier League after just another heat where things didn't go right. Even twice alone in this heat, you were beaten on the river with queens. So give us your reactions to this.
I mean, I'm gutted. Like, obviously, I think I just want to do well in the structure. Like, I feel really confident about it. And today, I made a flush. I made queens twice. Like, I think an ace jack into aces. Like, it's just like unbelievable. Like, sometimes you just can't do anything. And I mean, I think I played my hands pretty well. Like, I got a bad turn against Sorel. I thought I was going to fold if I bet, and then just the worst river. I mean, it's just spots where like I lost the minimum today. You know, it is what it is.
Welcome back to the Party Poker Premier League. It's all drama here in Montreal. Before the break, Vanessa Selbst was eliminated from this season's event. On the table, it's business as usual, and the players have also been doing a little bit of side betting.
The Premier League tournament is great because all the players are good friends. We're having fun at the table, telling jokes, gambling.
There's a never-ending staircase. How many stairs would Phil have to run up before he just stopped and like dropped dead? All right, how much Vanessa thinks Phil Locke would have to get paid to change his name to Huckleberry?
When poker players hang out, they're just gamble. They can't help themselves, myself included.
They pose a question to a bystander and bet on what they think his answer will be.
What percent of Antonio's net worth would he give away if 1,000 people who were in poverty would become millionaires, but no one knows that he's ever done it?
It's not long before some serious cash is flying around the table.
Okay, I'm just gonna repeat the bets, and if there's anything else. Okay, you guys have it 2,000 to 3,000. With Antonio, I have a 2 to 240, a 2 to 300, and I have a 5 to 800 US chop. All right.
Warren, come on, Warren.
Do the right thing.
Warren, do the right thing.
Do the right thing.
I knew it. We got it. We got it. So low. I think we got it. Yes! Yes! I was so strong. I knew it was the best. The pros lost all the money. The fish collected. The pros lost.
Damn. So Jason,
all right, here we're
like we're in a spot now where the guy
you won 3,000. Mizzi lost 2,200.
To take advantage of the dynamics is Jeff Gross, and it hasn't clicked in yet. He's gone from a spot where he should be folding 100% to now he could be opening massively wide, and Scott Seiver won't even do anything about it.
Yeah, that's an extreme difference.
Does he know that? He has to, but no, he doesn't. I mean, Jeff Gross doesn't know.
No, Jeff Gross does not know.
Because he's folding all the time.
Because, I mean, Jeff Gross is good for Scott
This would be a perfect time for him to steal, because he would get the chips.
Okay, have things changed enough for Brian Rast, where he must feel like he's a lock for top 8. Is Rast a lock for top 8? He's now got 21 points.
I don't think that's
not a lot. I don't think so either.
So you should probably be folding here.
This could be a bad.
I'm a little amazed.
Open to 15 here with ace.
He's not necessarily slow playing. He's just not doing so well against his early position. Or he shouldn't be doing so well against his early position opening range. I think Rast will check call one.
7-bet, 22,000.
It's going to be tough to play, but he's probably going to check call one.
I mean, as we saw in that pot earlier today, Rast seems to be kind of levelly trying to.
He really understands why you can't play hands. You only play hand if you know they're all going to fold, but with Seiver, with all those chips.
I'm seeing a lot of permutations where if Rast is the next player out, he does not make the top 8. Duhamel just needs, he certainly, 3 players could certainly pass him. Duhamel, Esfandiari, Seiver, and Shak. Only 3 of those players would have to finish with 21 points or more. Certainly a lot of possibilities.
Yeah, I love Rasty, but I need him to bust.
13,000.
Rast can't really open up his game until either Duhamel or Esfandiari bust.
All in.
Wow, the ace-4 off.
Fold.
With a pile of people behind him too. That's pretty wild.
Fold.
You count it, or like tell me about
I do wonder if does the keep the shorties in apply right now for Scott Seiver?
100%. 100%. He wants Dan Shak here.
Total's going to be 134.
Yeah,
134.
Just gives him a warrant to open away.
I mean, what other question? We played another lot of things.
Yeah, that was from before. I already put that in the phone. That's done.
Oh, that's 200.
It seems like this is a trivial sort of pass for Scott Seiver, but one interesting thing, guys, is that Dan Shak should start to realize that Scott Seiver is not interested in calling his shoves, and that could make him very powerful. He's got a perfect seat to rein Scott Seiver in, to chip up against him.
So outside of Duhamel having all the chips, I feel pretty good about the spot. Seiver having a bunch of chips is really good news for anybody like me and Phil who are trying to get some pay jumps or some final table locks or whatever it may be.
Total with the split?
No, Jason, you're mostly concerned right now with what's going to happen with Mizzi and the fact that Rast is not having chips. You need 2 people
I'm
to
up
pass
1740.
Well, I need Rast to not get top 3, and I need Duhamel not to win as well.
Right.
No, the other question's in my phone, on the books.
So Seiver's on 100% open right now, right? Jack Deuce is in the bottom what? Is it the bottom 1%? The bottom 2%?
He is in 100% open, but look at this. Everyone's 100% frozen. I mean, it's freeze city for the players.
Go.
100% frozen mode. And interestingly enough,
so now you know your opponent is opening 100%.
You want a 5K flip?
I think this is a for sure call. If you connect, though, you have to.
Isn't this when you send a message to Jonathan Duhamel if you're Scott Seiver? You remind him what's going on.
Shak, you want a 5K flip?
Check. Jonathan Duhamel cannot bust next. Shouldn't Scott Seiver just send him the message?
Yep. Duhamel knows he's winning, but I don't think he should bet.
Yeah, it doesn't
I think
make
it's
a
a check call. You're just getting all worse hands that might bluff to. It's hard though because you get good clean information. If you bet and get called or raise, you can beat. Now he's thinking, what? call.
I mean,
Is it
Seiver's
pocket
setting him up
nines?
for the bomber, right?
Yeah,
Seiver's
is it
gonna bluff.
he's worried about pocket
Felt like we
nines
won
or
a
something.
tournament for a minute there, Jeff.
It was fun. I don't know why it was so fun.
Is Jonathan Duhamel just crazy enough to say, I don't really care?
Will he call with an ace?
I don't really care.
I think there's a chance Seiver just bets like.
By the way, when at first he said that thing about it could be way off, I was like a little worried.
That was hopeless.
Sheepish, and then
I think you call there if you're going to bomb the river. It's that whole regular poker taking over again. Well, I mean, of course he's going to call if he has quad sevens or a 10 or whatever. But that's
Now hold up. Is there any reason, tournament points-wise, why
Seiver
would want Duhamel to have more chips?
Oh, let's see.
Because there's definitely reasons to collude.
I think
it's not cheating.
It's actually the opposite.
He doesn't want him to have chips?
I actually think,
he's above him.
Right, I actually think that Duhamel is one of the guys who he benefits from. Because Seiver wants to be in a spot where he can get the heads up with the top 3 or possibly top 4 finish.
Okay, yeah.
That's interesting. I'm glad you said it. That counterintuitive thinking could have hit it on the nail. We could have just discovered, you know. When you see a guy flat and then not jams, with that line, you're thinking, okay, maybe he wanted him to have the chips.
Seat 7 raise.
And Shak gets to shove again.
Yeah, what it's a Shak shove.
No,
he wasn't on that level. I don't
Come on, Shak.
But
Seat 8 3 raise all in.
Shake Shack.
Shakster's all in.
Shakster.
The Shak attack.
The Shak attack.
Fold.
Had good timing on Seiver.
The all-in frequency is very high.
Yes.
You showed me one.
Fold.
What did you show? What did you show?
Ace queen.
That's reason. That's your special. Jack, picking up the money.
He showed me one before.
Guys, blinds are going up now. 3 and 6,000 is over. Well, what's the most interesting dynamic on this leaderboard for you?
Well, it looks like most of the stacks are going to be right there in that 25 big blind range where there's going to be a lot of reshoving and not a lot else going on, especially with the next level making such a significant jump to 6K, 12K. So there could be some fireworks this level with some reshoves.
And interesting points-wise is Rast, Antonio, and Gross, you know, always having the comfort of around average 300. They went down together. Shak bumping up like this. They're all now 4 in the same quadrant. 190 to 203. This is super narrow bandwidthing for 4 players.
Come on, Duhamel.
16,000.
You're not scared.
He's like, is Scott Seiver in the small blind? I don't care.
You are not
16,000
scared.
I don't know.
You're Duhamel.
Brave men.
Brave man raising into his big blind. He's got a little bit of confidence.
Brave man, Jonathan.
It's true. He's picking the chip leader, the guy who's just shoved all in. Like, all he has to do is put his hands around his stack.
Check. 20,000. Fold.
It's the demeanor. It's the demeanor, I'm
still
telling you.
not so sold, guys. I think we might be missing a
We
little
have
something.
to be. We have to be. Could it be that there's so many people who want Duhamel? That's not just him. There's so many people who want Duhamel to bust next. Brian Rast, for instance.
Yeah, I think
he's
that there's
handcuffed
something
by
going
Duhamel.
on with his strategy.
Esfandiari's handcuffed by Duhamel.
Oh, that could very well be it. He's keeping Duhamel alive so that they have to wait him out. That could be
it. So he can get chips from other guys. Let Duhamel keep getting beat.
So he's discounting the whole. I could actually get 4th.
Yeah,
and
I
he's
don't
saying,
think
right.
There's more gain in them playing conservatively.
And that's it.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
It's 100% it.
We have cracked it. Seiver made mathematically pure decisions. He is trying to leak
The guy's just so
chips.
good. He's so good. He's so smart. He's going to keep those guys in the coffin, keep Duhamel alive, and just chip away at everybody else.
Next time here in Montreal, Canada, Heat 6 continues with more exciting action as the players scramble for points to make the final table at the Party Poker Premier League 7.
Doesn't feel like you're happy with 1 point.
Got my Premier League record in jeopardy, Scott.
Cards are set no matter what you root for. They are what they are.
I was folding to you, that's for sure.
What's so sick is I think if I look down at 2 aces, I can't call you. I haven't gotten lucky once in this Premier League, so maybe I'm due.